Turning to other news tonight, the American people and some members of Congress have been asking for the release of the 28 classified pages of the 9/11 report. Many Americans believe the truth lies within the pages and shows a direct connection to the Saudis. After years of pressure, President Obama finally authorized their release on Friday. Manila Chan tells us tonight about the content of those pages.
Now, for the first time, the public can see just how close some of the 9/11 hijackers were to the Saudi royal family and former President George W. Bush. As the family of many 9/11 victims pushed for the release of these documents earlier this year, retired U.S. Senator Bob Graham of Florida shared why he thought those pages were kept secret right here on RT America.
There are several theories as to why the Bush administration would have wanted to have classified and kept from public view information that might have been somewhere between embarrassing and the cause of reassessment of our relationship with Saudi Arabia.
It's important to note that Senator Graham was part of the commission and did, in fact, have knowledge of what was in those pages, which he was sworn under oath to secrecy. The official response from authors of that section cite that the classification of those pages were necessary to national security. We know now that that just wasn't true. But as Senator Graham said, those 28 pages do reveal this who's who connection chart. Take a look. First, you have Saudi royal Prince Bandar bin Sultan. He's also known as Bandar Bush because no Saudi royal has ever been this close to or had this level of unprecedented access to any American president before. Prince Bandar provided lots of money to Osama Basnan and his wife, who lived here in the U.S. at the time. Prince Bandar's wife would send Mrs. Basnar $2,000 a month, like clockwork. Now, Basnan is known to the FBI as a Saudi intelligence agent. Basnan had a direct relationship to Khalid Mihdhar and Nawaf al-Hazmi, two of the 9/11 hijackers. Now, Osama Basnan's phone records also showed that he was connected to another suspected Saudi intel agent living here in the U.S. at the time. His name was Omar al-Bayoumi, who federal agents know is a terrorist sympathizer. Now, the feds think that this was because he was directly tied to this guy. You might recognize him, Osama bin Laden. Now, bin Laden essentially kept Omar al-Bayoumi on payroll through various shell companies here in the U.S. So while many of these ties are anecdotal evidence, they do provide more context to the deadliest terror attack that's ever taken place here on U.S. soil ever in history, and perhaps will cause more people to question the government's interests both at home and over in the Middle East. For the news with Ed Schultz in Washington, I'm Manila Chan, RT.
The public now knows what's in the 28 pages, but legally, what can Americans who want action on Saudi Arabia do? For that answer, let's bring in our legal analyst tonight, Lionel. Lionel, there's a clear paper trail between Saudi officials and money and those who were connected and involved in the attack. As far as the family members of the victims, what legal recourse do they have, if any?
Well, the first thing the first hurdle will be the Foreign Sovereign Immunities Act of 1976, which provides that citizens of the United States can sue foreign countries, foreign governments, in certain circumstances. Now, let's assume, arguendo, for the sake of argument, that there is enough of a connection there. Saudi Arabia could say, this proves nothing, but let's assume there is. The question then is, can they sue? Can they sue Saudi Arabia? Not only that, the insurance companies, first responders, just imagine this list of individuals who would have a claim. The question then would be, would the United States be able to, or a federal court, be able to seize Saudi assets prior to the conclusion of the lawsuit? Then we get into litigation. Let's assume further that Saudi Arabia says, are you sure you really want to get into facts that might be embarrassing? Now, in May of this year, there was a bill that was passed in the Senate that would provide American citizens the ability to secure funds and liability from Saudi Arabia. That will probably be vetoed by the president. It also has a lot of loopholes where it can be stopped if anybody claims that this is a matter of national security. But Ed, this is what's really the most important. We're going to see a change from warfare to lawfare. And what happens then if another country says, you know, U.S., you've inspired us. I represent a Yemeni family who was hit by one of your drones. I represent families, and we're going to use this same legal apparatus to go after you.
Yeah.
Do you see what can of worms this opens?
Why
it sounds? I'm sorry.
Why do you think they waited so long to release these, if this is the case?
Well, I could go conspiratorial on you, but I don't think that would be appropriate. Remember, there was a talk recently of many people are suggesting that Saudi Arabia was saying, look, we're going to dump your debt.
Yeah.
This might have been kind of an ace in the hole. They might have been waiting for this one. Also, this changes the whole complexion of where the blame, where it lies. What type of policy change will accompany this?
Okay.
Remember, though, let me go back to the Libyans. Americans recovered, so the chance for settlement is not off the table.
All right, Lionel, good to have you with us tonight. Thanks for that analysis. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Turning